If you've been following along, you know I'm absolutely obsessed with making bag charms. So I wanted to create kind of a step-by-step tutorial to show you how I do it. I know there's a lot of different ways to create a bag charm, but I feel like I landed on like a really fun little jumble, and there are 4 main elements to it. So I just wanted to show you how to make each one of these elements, and then you could recreate it or just use it as inspiration to make your own. Hi, I'm Crystal, and welcome to Perkins on Parkway.
Here is a quick little overview of the 4 different elements that we're going to be making for these bag charms. I think they work really well together because there's lots of different variations on length and texture. First up, we have this cute customized safety pin with beads, a cute little boondoggle that we're going to weave together, what I'm calling a bead stack, and then finally a charm chain, which is a chain with charms.
Okay, so the first one we're going to learn how to make is this boondoggle. It's called a boondoggle. I don't know why. The hardest part about making that is the start, because once you have it started, it's really easy to just like go all the way through. So I'm gonna show you how to start it, and I'll get up and close. I have been starting mine just on one of these like bigger jump rings. That way I have something to attach to my keychain, and then we add the charms, kind of just spacing them out as we go down. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a long piece. Obviously, the longer you want it to be, the longer you're gonna need to make it. So I kind of make mine, I don't know, like 3, 4, 5 inches long. I just honestly kind of eyeball it, because you're gonna just need 2 pieces of cord. So I take like this, and this is called parachute cord. You can get it online, you can get it at a craft store. I make them both the same length, and you're gonna have it look like this. So 2 pieces of cord, same length, and then you're going to basically just half them like this. And then you're gonna take both ends and you're gonna feed it through this circle right here. Okay, so this is how you're gonna start it. So you see how you have 2 pieces coming through this hole? You're gonna wanna overlay them. You're gonna have the bottom piece going under and the top piece going up, and it's crisscrossed through your jump ring. See how that looks? Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this bottom piece and you're gonna come up and over and up and over. So you're kind of creating 2 separate loops, okay? Now I kind of just hold them with my other fingers. So we have the bottom going up and over, and then we have the one that's in the middle coming out on either side. And what you're gonna do with this one is you're gonna feed this through the loops. So see, I'm feeding this through this loop, and then this one I'm feeding through this loop. So you're creating a square knot, but starting it. So then we have it like this, okay? And then we're just gonna pull it tight. And you kind of have to like adjust it carefully. But once you've got it, you got it. And you just create like this little square knot. And then you're just gonna keep repeating that process. So I'm gonna take the same, and it doesn't matter which side you do it at, always gonna be working in opposite sides. So it'll be this side and this side and this side and this side. They should be doing the same thing. So up and over, up and over. You're gonna take this and you're gonna feed it through, over, under. And you're gonna feed this one through, over, under. And pull it tight. All right, so you can see here that I've got it started. Now the next step will be continuing to go down and add the charms. I have one started here so that I can show you. It already has a charm on it, so I'm gonna add my next charm. I don't want the charm to be on the same side as this one, so I'm just gonna rotate it. I'm gonna put it on this one over here. You just take the strand that you want it to be on. You go ahead and slide the charm on like this. Then you just hold it down, and then you're just gonna do the same thing you've been doing. So I'm gonna create a loop. Stays in place. Create another loop. Up, over and under, over and under, and then I'm just going to pull that tight, and that is how you add the charm. If you just want to go all the way down, you can kind of put the charms in later, but I feel like it's a little easier to do it as you go. So now when I get to the end, I am just tying it off in one knot. So I'm taking it like this, all of the strands in one, going around my finger, creating a loop, and then pulling my finger out. You've got your loop, and then I'm gonna feed all 4 of these cords through to create this knot. And then just kind of pull it tight. So you see how the ends are all frayed? So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna trim off any excess to whatever length you want. And then you're gonna use some fire and just kind of melt them into place. And so that way, as you have it on your keychain, they won't fray over time. Those are all the different steps for how you make a boondoggle. I kind of like doing 5 charms, getting one on every single side because there's 4 sides of this, and then doing one at the end. I think that looks really cute, but you can do as many or as few charms as you want, and that is how you make a boondoggle. I really don't like saying that word for some reason. All right, so that is the first element of my bag charms. Let's move on to element number 2. Okay, so the safety pin is probably the easiest element to make because it's literally just a safety pin. You're taking a safety pin and putting some beads on it, and then one little jump ring so you can attach it to your bag charm. On the safety pin, I do like to use these little letter beads and customize it to the person that I'm giving it to. This one says Pop for Perkins on Parkway. So to start, I just kind of take a small bead. These aren't very long, so I like to just start it with like a couple of small beads, and I usually keep like a pretty consistent color palette. So this one I'm just using blues and greens, and then I put on the letter beads. I am a big fan of like mixed metals, so you're gonna see that a lot. And then I just keep adding on the beads. On the opposite side, I like to do some larger beads because it does help keep the safety pin from opening. And so once it looks about right, I will just go ahead and close it like so. And then I will take some of the super glue and I just dab it in this little part of the safety pin to make sure that it won't come undone when it's like hanging from the bag charm. I will take one of these jump rings, loop it around, close it, and then that is how it's gonna hang from the bag charm. So that is how you make the cute little safety pins that hang off. I feel like they just add like really nice volume at the top because everything is quite long. So it's just cute to have that little element with all those different little things hanging out the top. The next thing that we are gonna make is a little bead stack. So this will be element number 3. For this little bead stack, we're gonna be using Stretch Magic. I just like how clean this looks. You could definitely use like cord or anything that's gonna fit for your beads. So we're gonna start by creating a little loop to tie on to this jump ring. Cut your Stretch Magic however long you want it to be, and then take your jump ring and thread it on. So it's just kind of in the middle. And then we're just gonna tie another little loop knot. So we're gonna create a loop, we're gonna pull both ends through, and then we're gonna go like this and just kind of tighten it. And that is gonna be the base for our little bead stack. Now you can make this look however you want. I like to do a mix of smaller beads and larger beads, and then I'll show you how to tie it off at the end. All right, so once you get a stack that you're kind of liking, you're gonna wanna put a small bead on the end. So I'm gonna put this little tiny gold bead on the end. And the reason you're gonna wanna do a smaller bead is because of how we are going to end it. So these are called crimp beads. You can see they're a little tiny metal bead, and this is how we're going to finish off the end of our bead stack. So you take this tiny little metal bead, you can see it's super, super small, and you're just gonna thread it on like so. So this is a bead, and then this is the crimp bead here at the end. Then you're gonna take your jewelry pliers, and you're gonna come up, and you're just gonna squish it. You're gonna take this around this metal bead here, and you're gonna squish it. And you see it goes flat like that. So that is what's gonna keep all of your beads on your little bead stack. You can see. And then you just trim this, and you can see I have these crimp beads here. on the end of this one. This one I threaded it through. You can do that or not. This one I threaded it through before I crimped it. It doesn't look quite as clean to me as just doing it this way. I kind of like that. So just whatever your prerogative is. So this one is really cute, just like varying beads and shapes with the little crimp bead at the end. I really like how this one turned out with like the hearts and the purple little strawberry. And then you just put the crimp bead on at the end and voila. All right, so that is how you make the little bead stack. I just think they're so fun and it's a great way to put a lot of creative things in at once. It adds a lot of visual dimension and color, and it's just really, really cute. I love how they kind of like fall in the stack and they just add a lot of color. It like looks a little simple, I think, without it. I just think it's really, really fun. So the next and last thing I'm gonna show you guys how to make are just these little charm link stacks. This is probably the simplest thing that you're gonna make. What you're gonna need is you're gonna need some of these like paper clip links. Now there are a bunch of different ways to buy this stuff. This is actually half of a bracelet from Michael's. It's the other half of this one that I use. It actually comes with this little carabiner, this gold one that I use to attach to this carabiner here, which is great. It's a little bit more expensive, so there are some more cost-effective versions because half of this, if it's not on sale, is like $5. So the other places that you can look are actually the hardware store. I found both of these at Home Depot, which is super, super fun. So I'm excited to use those to kind of make them. Or if you're gonna make a lot, you could order, this is like 16 feet of the paper clip cord, and you could make a ton of bracelets. I'm actually going to a girls trip next weekend. This is what I bought for everybody to be able to make bag charms. So really quick, I'm gonna show you how to add the charms to this, and then you can kind of just do whatever you want. I like to add like 3 or 4, and then kind of like a one with larger weight here at the bottom, just to kind of add into the mix. So I'll show you how you're gonna do that. I'll add these 2 charms to it. These are the links that we're gonna be using, and I'm gonna add these 2 charms to them. Sometimes the links are easy enough to open where you can just do it with your fingers, but I do like to use 2 pairs of pliers when I do it. I just feel like it gives me a little bit more control. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take your charm and you're gonna grab your jump ring, one side of the pliers, and then you're gonna grab the other side with the other side of the pliers, and then you're just gonna pop it open, like so. You're gonna take your link, add it on. That looks super, super cute. I'm gonna take my other charm and I'm gonna do the same thing. And then I wouldn't want to hang this one here because it just seems like it's too much. So I'm gonna go up a couple links, put it on this one. And then sometimes they're easy enough to close with your fingers, like that. And then we've got 2 cute little charms, and I'd probably add maybe another one here and maybe one at the top. I just think it looks super, super cute. Then once we're done adding the charms, I also add a jump ring to the top so it's easy to attach to the carabiner. All right, so here's all the things that we made together: the boondoggle, the link with charms, the bead stack, and the paper clip. And then here is how they all look together. So you see we have the paper clip with the beads, the links with all the charms on it, the boondoggle, and then also the bead stack. And it just looks super, super cute. I also added some extra charms up here on the top just because I think it adds a little bit more dimension. But that is how I make my bag charms. For the final part, you can either add it to a carabiner like this or something like this to be able to create your top. So you'll just take all of the things that we've created and either slide them in here or slide them over this. So I can show you that real quick. And that's how you make bag charms. You can find everything that I used here today linked below so that you can recreate your own. If you have any questions on how to make your own bag charms, I'm happy to answer them in the comments. Have a great day, and thanks for following Perkins on Parkway.